Welcome back to Low Stress Math with Mrs. Bono. We are on Chapter 1, Solving Equations, and we're going to do Lesson 7, Solving Equations with Variables on Both Sides. So, let's get started. List any similarities or differences between equations A and B below. All right, let's look at these. 3x, 3x, 7x, 7x, 4, 4, negative 8, negative 8. So, similarity is they have all of the same terms. Each of these is a term, remember? So, all the terms are the same. What else do they have that's the same? They both have an equal sign, so they're both equations. What's the difference? 3, 7, 4, 8. 3, 4, 8, 7. Oh, difference. The terms are in a different order. What else is a difference? The terms are in a different order. And, oh, the 7x is on the right side of the equal sign here and on the left side of the equal sign here. So for this first one, the x's are on the same side. For the second one, the x's are on different sides. So the second equation has variables on both sides. That's not an A, that's an A. I gotta make better cues. All right, so the terms are in a different order, and in the second equation, the variables are on both sides of the equal sign. Okay, so this is where you need to do some math on your own. Turn off the video, or pause the video, and try the two problems. You didn't do that, did you? You just want me to do all the work for you. All right, I like to separate things with little lines, so I'm going to do that to start with. But let's take a look at this one. I have variables on the same side. When they're next to each other with an addition sign on the same side, I can combine like terms. 3x plus 7x is 10x plus 4 equals negative 8. I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. 10x equals negative 12. Divide both sides by 10. And I'm going to get two different answers here. I'll get x equals negative 1 2/10, or x equals negative 6/5. Both of those are correct. I like this one, but this one is the same answer. It's okay. There you go. Beautiful. Now let's take a look at this one. They're on opposite sides, so I have to get all my variables to the same side. Now, the way I like to do this is I'll look at both variables, 3x and 7x, and I'll move the variable with the smaller coefficient to the larger coefficient, even if it's on the wrong side. It makes everything positive and easy. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides, because the way to go over an equal sign is to do the opposite operation. So now I have 4 equals negative 8 plus 7 and negative 3, 4x. All right, add 8 to both sides, and I get 12 equals 4x. Divide both sides by 4, and I get 3 equals x, or x equals 3, which I like better. Now, looking at this, you'll see having the variable on opposite sides gave me completely different answers, which is fine. In the end, where your variables are in the equation is going to matter a lot. All right, let's take a look at the next page. Here we go. Let's read a little, shall we? To solve an equation that has variables on both sides of the equation sign, you must get the variables on the same side of the equal side using inverse or opposite operations. If possible, use the inverse to move the smaller term. Always do that. It will make it so much easier in the end. All right, so solving the equation for the variable. First step, identify the variable term and move one to the other variable term using inverse operations. Let's see, 8 5/10 and 3 3/10. 8 5/10 is larger than 3 3/10. I am going to move the smaller term to the larger term. So I'm going to subtract because that's the inverse operation. The inverse of positive 3 3/10 is negative 3 3/10. Don't lose the variable. They're like glued together at this point. And I get 8. No, I don't. 8 minus 3 is 5, Bono. I get 5 2/10 m minus 4 3/10 equals 3 5/10. Move the constant. All right, so that's the constant. The constant is the number that does not have a variable. So now the opposite of subtraction, add 4 3/10 to both sides. And uh, 5 2/10 m equals 8. No, 7 8/10. Right? Yeah, 7 8/10. And now I'm going to use my calculator. Divide by the coefficient. So 5 2/10 m equals 7 8/10. Divide both sides by 5 2/10. Sorry, divide both sides by 5 2/10. And I am going to use calculator because, duh, you know me, decimals is scary. Here we go. 7 8/10 divided by 5 2/10 is 1 5/10. So m equals 1 5/10. Put a box around it because it's beautiful. Now I have to check it. Rewrite the original equation from up here. 8 5/10 m minus 4 3/10 equals 3 3/10 m plus 3 5/10. And then all the m's, both of them, become 1 5/10. So 8 5/10 times 1 5/10 minus 4 3/10 equals 3 3/10 times 1 5/10 plus 3 5/10. Now I'm going to put this in the calculator and then put that in the calculator and see if I get the same answer. Now, my calculator doesn't have parentheses, but that's okay. I'll do the best I can with what I have. 8 5/10 times 1 5/10 equals minus 4 3/10. And I get 8 45/100 equals 3 3/10 times 1 5/10 plus 3 5/10 is, yay, 8 4/500. It checks. So, yay us, we can math. All right, so following these steps, you do these 2 problems. Turn off the video, pause the video, and do those 2 problems. You can only learn math by doing math. All right, let's see how you did. Now I want to move the smaller variable to the larger variable. The opposite of positive 2x, negative 2x on both sides. And I get 5 equals 3x minus 7. Add 7 to both sides. 12 equals 3x. Divide both sides by 3. And 4 equals x. Now I can flip it over and write x equals 4 and put a box around it because that's the answer I prefer. Oh dear, decimals again. It's quite all right. It's quite all right. We're good with the decimals. Here we go. 1 2/10. Oh, sorry. What am I doing? I don't even know. Here we go. Negative 3 2/10. Positive 5 2/10. Negative is always smaller. So I'm going to add 3 2/10 p to both sides. Nothing happened to the 1 2/10. 5 2/10 plus 3 2/10 is 8 4/10. P plus 4 minus 4 from both sides. Yeah, let's not mess this up, shall we, people? Here we go. 1 2/10 minus 4, negative 22 8/10 equals 8 4/10 p. Divide both sides by 8 4/10. And divide you by 8 4/10. I get, oh, look at that. It's a repeating negative decimal. Negative 0.3 with the bar on top equals p. Now, you could change it to a fraction because repeated negative 3's is actually p equals negative 1/3. Now, I would go with this because when they give you decimals, you should give them decimals as answers. But it could be that fraction. It's the same thing. It means the same thing. All right, let's do these couple of examples. All right, so negative 3 and negative 8. Negative 8 is smaller, so that's the one that I'm going to move. I'm going to add 8m to both sides and get 5m minus 26 equals 34. Add 26 to both sides. 5m equals 60. Divide both sides by 5. And m equals 12. That does not look like a 5. M equals 12. All right. For this one, the variables are on both sides. I'm going to rewrite this as 22 plus negative 6x equals 5x, because it makes it easier to see that negative 6 is smaller than 5. So I'm adding 6x to both sides. Negative 6 and positive 6 is 0. 22 equals 11x. Divide both sides by 11. And 2 equals x. But I would prefer to have it as x equals 2. Yay, not horrible. All right, on the next page, checkpoint. Pause the video and do those 2 problems. You can do this. I have faith in you. All right, you're back. Here we go. I'm rewriting this as add a negative here because I want you to see. This is 13 plus negative 1n equals 1n minus 7. We'll worry about that later. Negative 1 is smaller than positive 1, so I'm going to add 1n to both sides. 13 equals 2n minus 7. Add 7 to both sides. 20 equals 2n. divide both sides by 2, and n equals 10, or 10 equals n. But I like n equals 10 better, so there we have it. On this side, -4 is actually larger, but I don't like zeros, so I'm going to have a negative coefficient for a second. I'm going to add 4y to both sides. It's the only time I ever move the larger coefficient, because -4 is larger than -6. And I get -2y equals 12. Divide both sides by -2. And y equals -6. I don't like that problem. Blech. But it's all right, you learn. You can divide by negative coefficients, I just prefer not to. All right, down here. Name 2 characteristics of a square. All the angles, or you know what, all the sides are the same. I'm going to write equal because it sounds better, mathy. And all the angles, did I just write angels? All angles are 90 degrees. Write an equation for the lengths of this. Well, if the sides are equal, these are going to be equal. So it's going to be 4x minus 2 is equal to 2x plus 8. Solve the equation for x. Okay. Minus 2x from both sides, because I want to move the smaller side, the smaller variable to the larger one. And I get 2x minus 2 equals 8. Add 2 to both sides. 2x equals 10. Divide both sides by 2. And I get x equals 5. Yay, now I'm going to put that 5 into both equations to see if I get the same answer. So, 4x minus 2 and 2x plus 8. 4 times 5 minus 2. 4 times 5 is 20. Minus 2 is 18. 2 times 5 plus 8. 10 plus 8 is 18. So, final length of the side of the square. My square is 18 on each side. Okay, homework tonight, independent practice on the next page. You can do it. Good luck. Take care. Bye.